Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Realistic 151 project, a series where I draw realistic versions of the first generation of Pokemon using the concepts of stylization and fantastical biology to inform my redesigns. It's the second entry of spooky season, so you know what that means. We've got the classic fantasy slime monster on our hands in Grimer and Muck. You know, I know everyone sort of memes on these two, and for sort of good reason, but I always sort of liked them. In fact, I'm surprised these two weren't ever my favorite Gen 1 Pokemon growing up. Some of my favorite concepts and media for my whole life have been the monster made out of slime trope. Like, my favorite Ben 10 alien was Goop, my favorite Scooby-Doo villain was the Tar Monster, I loved the slimes in Minecraft. I don't know what that says about me. Maybe if I was born 20 years later, I'd be one of those slime kids, which I don't know if I like that about myself or not, but anyway. When it comes to Grimer, I had a very clear vision in mind. The first was that, similarly to Zubat, I wanted to wash out the color palette as I felt like a grayer hue with a hint of purple might be a color of some sort of sludge that you'd find walking around a city or somewhere with a lot of unmanaged waste. And I think it's an important concept that these Pokemon would blend in with their surroundings being, well, trash. Texture-wise, I pulled subconsciously at first from those pictures of deep-sea blobfish that have been depressurized. With the hands and arms, I wanted to have the idea that even when the individual digits were splayed apart, they'd still be linked by strands of goo, alluding to the idea that when these arms are not in use, the whole thing is congealed together in one singular form. I also added the texture of some foamy bubbles in some places to add to the rancid look that I wanted it to have. The bluish tongue also was something that was accurate to the original, but I think really fits, especially in my version, as it has the spooky look of something dead. Or, well, in this case, maybe undead? Is Grimer undead? I don't really know what the deal there is. But I think that's a cool touch for a creature made of waste. Finally was the only slight change to the design that I made, and that was the eyes. This was the most prominent image that I had in my head when I started, and that was these deep-set, dead-looking eyes, and I think they complement the design perfectly. So here is my interpretation of Realistic Grimer, the sludge Pokemon. Next is Muck, and honestly, there isn't really too much more to say about this one beyond transferring the design decisions that I made in the first form onto Muck. Texture and color-wise, it's exactly how I saw it in my head before I started, and although I would have maybe gone back and added some of those foam textures that I really liked in the first form, just to give it the idea that it was really something rancid. When it came to the weird spooky eyes I landed on for this design, I'm even happier with the version that I made for this. That in combination with the bluish tongue, like I said, references the whole idea of this Pokemon having maybe been something that was alive at some point that was suffocated by pollution, which is an admittedly sad but interesting concept that I think the original was trying to touch on, although maybe I'm just looking too deep into it. I don't know if that's an appropriate theme for a kid's game. For my final notes on Muck and Grimer, I think owning them as pets would be, well, let's be honest, I don't think anybody would want to. They're supposed to reek like trash, according to the Pokedex, and they probably stain everything with a rancid smell. Honestly, this concept seems a lot more like a pest than a pet, in real connotations at least. It would maybe be something that would generate in a landfill or in a hoarder house if it was left to rot for too long. So no, I don't think anyone would own at least this version of these designs as pets. Maybe certain career positions like trash management people would have a working relationship with these Pokemon where maybe they're used to break down trash, but I don't know, even that's a stretch. But anyway, here is my interpretation of Muck, the sludge Pokemon. So I hope you like my interpretations of Muck and Grimer for this spooky season entry of the Realistic 151 project. Tell me, what do you think about these, and if you can think of any reason on Earth why these wouldn't make awful pets in the comments below. But, as always, thank you all so much for watching, and a special thanks to my patrons STE, Alan Michael White, R.O. Bolt, and Griffin for your continued support. It truly means the world. If you want to join them in their support of series like the Realistic 151 on this channel by getting cool perks like early access to my videos, then you can do so by following the link below and signing up for as little as $3 a month. Even better, it's no commitment, so if you find that it's not really your thing, you can cancel at any time. Thank you again to my patrons, and thank you all for watching. And if you like this video, then leave a like, and if you want to see more like it, then subscribe and turn on the bell to get notified when I upload next.